So here's a bit of a funny story. Well, funny in the sense of if you have some sort of gallows humor, it's funny, but really it's also a little bit sad. I'm just gonna read you the whole story. I'm gonna have to look away from the camera for reading this story, but yeah, this is from the New York Times. No, excuse me, not the New York Times. I'm blanking. The New York Post, excuse me. This is from the New York Post, from their Instagram account. So I'm reading. A Texas dad moved his wife and 3 kids to Russia, chasing traditional values and a welding job. 3 weeks of training later, he was headed for the front lines in Ukraine. His wife says he feels like he was thrown to the wolves, and the family still has not seen his pay. Over 500 foreign nationals have died fighting for Russia. And then there's an additional sentence. The brochure left out the trench. I mean, I'm not sure whether that was sarcastic or not. It sort of sounds like sarcastic. The brochure left out the trench. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock, it did. I mean, I want to be respectful to this man, because let's first and foremost hope that he's alive. Really, let's just hope that he's alive. You think that you're going to move to a country with traditional values, but this country is also actively at war, and they're the invading force in a war. Now, I'm not going to get bogged down into political discussions. There's a lot to say about the Russia-Ukraine war. There's a lot of narratives that have been spun the wrong way from either side. However, the premise is pretty clear. If you're moving to a country that's at war, you are at risk of being dragged into that war. You have to take that into consideration. Especially when even the president is saying something about these Ukrainian drone attacks, blah blah blah. Anyway, not gonna get bogged down into that. But this is how essentially dark persuasion can work, because you're taking somebody who might be very, very gullible and very, very easy to persuade, and you're presenting everything nice, clean, orderly, without any sort of pushback. Everything is clean, everything is easy to understand, everything is one-dimensional, just arguing one side of the coin whilst conveniently omitting the rest. That's actually a sign that you're getting manipulated. Why am I having such a hard time saying manipulated? I don't really know, but whatever. When everything is nice and clean, like a blank slate, and there's no resistance, there's no pushback, and it's just arguing one side, then you're being manipulated. This is like these echo chambers. And this is why, only listening to one side in a conflict, or one side of any issue at all, I mean, bearing mathematical truths, like 1 + 1 = 2. You have to listen to the other side as well. And by the way, if you or anybody watching this can prove to me that 1 + 1 = 3, then by all means, go for it. But I think you'll be hard pressed to argue that 1 + 1 never. Oh, excuse me. I think you'll be hard pressed to argue that 1 + 1 = 2. But if you can prove otherwise, then you probably will win the not the Nobel Peace Prize, maybe the Nobel Peace Prize, but the Nobel Mathematical. I think there's one for mathematics. Certainly there is for physics. Maybe for mathematics as well. I don't know. Here's what I do know, though. There's a lot of dumb and gullible people in the world. And this is the same sort of dark persuasion that a lot of people are using on the minors. making them transition from making them be in doubt about their gender identity, which is nonsense. Also, this is the same sort of dream that's being sold to a lot of migrants from the third world, saying that, hey, come to Europe, there are hot blondes here who are going to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars and people are going to cheer for you and they're going to welcome you and you'll have job opportunities. That's not true. Those are lies. In Europe, and I know because I'm living here, things are starting to change. Countries are getting more and more restrictive. They're not as open with their borders as they used to be back in the past. And so that also means that the population, the general population, is growing more skeptic of immigration as well. So it's a lie. It's the same sort of lie that you're selling to somebody who wants to move to Russia and be safe. Well, like I said, maybe there is a time and a place for being safe in Russia, and I'm not saying that there isn't. I'm just reminding everyone that Russia is part of a war. It's kind of like moving to Ukraine. I would love to move to Ukraine because I'm sure it's a beautiful country. But I'm not going to move there now when they're being invaded by another country because it's dangerous. I'll go visit, maybe. But I don't think it's smart to do it now because it's dangerous. Anyway, point is, dark persuasion works best on gullible people. And this may or may not be one example. If you want to learn more about persuasion and sales, get subscribed to my email list. The link to do so is below the episode description wherever you're watching and or listening to this. And I'll see you there.